Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Yapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sataracharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnu Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhirya Jatra Sthirairangai Stushtuvagun Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarsho arishtyanemihi Swasti no Brahaspati Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Chapter 4, number 11.
Chapter 4, Karika 11. Got it? Yeah.
Oh, so you don't need me to chant, right?
No, Puneet's here.
Okay, perfect. All right, just check.
Karanam yasya vai karyam, karanam tasya jayate, jayamanam katham ajam, bhinnam nityam katham chatat. The disputants, according to whom the cause itself is the effect, maintain that the cause indeed is born as the effect. How is it possible for the cause to be unborn, changeless, if it be born as the effect? How again can the cause be eternal if it is subjected to modifications time and again?
So I wouldn't get too caught up in this. This is about the whole nature of Tarka argument, cause and effect. So the basic point he's getting at. So, Amini, you are now a mother. Is that correct?
Yep.
So how old is Abi?
8 months.
8 months. So 9 months ago, you were not a mother.
Yes.
Then Abi was born. So was he the cause of you becoming a mother? Or
Go ahead.
Or were you the cause of him becoming a child?
I think both.
Yeah. In other words, this is just stupidness. It's just playing with words. So many Indian logicians get all caught up is the cause of the effect, etc. All the things that he was talking about here. Don't worry about it. The point that Gaudapada is getting at is self-realization is not a change in our being. Self-realization does not cause the self to become infinite. It's not that right now I'm a miserable, finite creature who's suffering and who's little and powerless. And hopefully, when I get enlightened, I will be birthless, changeless, and deathless. No. Easiest way to understand this is go back to the dream state. You, the waker, are always the same in your bed. But you imagine yourself to be the dreamer entity, going through its various tribulations. It's an old saying from the South, where the Lord sends you tribulations, he expects you to tribulate. But the point is, as vivid as the tribulations seem, they never touch the waker. It's all imagined. It has no real substance. It's a dream. So also, this jiva bhavana. Hindi speaker, what is bhavana?
Feeling.
Feeling or attitude. The feeling or the attitude that I'm a person. No one disputes that it's very vivid, but it's not real. Where does the dreamer go with all her tribulations when you wake up? Poof, gone. Now, I say this over and over again. The shift between the dreamer and the waker is a gross shift. Especially if you have to, say, drive to the airport early in the morning. So you set your alarm for like 4 o'clock. You don't normally get up at 4, but you're dreaming wildly. And all of a sudden the alarm goes off and bang! Dream gone. Now you're the waker in your bed. Whoa! What a weird, strange dream. Who's had that experience? That is a gross shift in the mind. The shift from jiva bhavana to jnana is subtle. It is so subtle that even though it occurs with some frequency, because the attentive faculty is extroverted, we miss it. Those of us who've studied Tripura Rahasyam, these are called fleeting samadhis. Any time the mind is free from mentation, from vimarsha, all that's left is the prakasha, the light of pure awareness. There's no sense that I'm a person at that moment. But because the attentive faculty is focused outward, I miss it. So first we need to have the paroksha jnana, the indirect knowledge, through the guru, through the study of the scriptures. So when those moments of quiescence happen, I notice, oh, there's no person there. Now, sometimes at night we have a dream and we know we're dreaming. It's called a lucid dream. Who's had one of those? So for the woman or man of knowledge, their equipment functions in this world just like anybody else's. But they know it's just imagination. The self is never touched. To the point he's getting at, those of us who are raised in a Hindu tradition, we have this strong, strong teaching. It's in the Vedas, the Karma Kanda. It's certainly in Bhagavad Gita, especially chapter 2, of the transmigrating soul. As a person casts off old, unused garments and takes up new ones, so the embodied soul casts off this body and takes up new ones. That's what Krishna says in the Gita. It is the subtle body that does this. But that's a partial teaching. So in the beginning, we do a lot of work to attain chitta shuddhi, purity of mind, sattva. But it's not about making the equipment perfect. I have some bad news for you. That's like trying to count to the highest number. How can something that's inherently finite, which is a product of ignorance, ever become the infinite? Now, that doesn't mean not to work on your character, just out of compassion for the rest of us. But it's always finite. But you are already a jati, unborn, nirmalam, without any dirt or taint. Achalam, you do not even move. Kutastha, still and established like a mountain. Chidananda Rupa, your form is bliss, consciousness. Yeah, but I don't feel it, Jim. It's all right. if you want to have the Atmaramana, the mind's capacity to revel in the self, you can have it. I've become very fond of a phrasing that Vidyaranya uses, Brahmananda rasa swad, to taste the juice of the bliss of Brahman. It's very simple. Give up the world. That's all you have to do. See it for what it is. Doesn't mean run away from it. It means to see its inherently neutral nature and don't believe your mind. I may not have turned my phone off. I'm learning to use this new one. Just a minute. It's off now. All right, any questions about this? It's incredibly important. Otherwise, we're in the unending process of trying to fix the personality. Next verse.
कारणाध्यनन्यत्वतः कार्यमजं यदि जायमानाद्धि वै कार्यात् कारणं ते कथं ध्रुवम्. If, as you say, the cause is identical with the effect, then the effect must also be eternal and unborn. Further, how can the cause be permanent or eternal if it be not different from or identical with the effect which is born?
So for those people, the Visishtadvaitans, God is the ocean, I am the drop. God is the fire, I am the spark. Can the infinite, unchanging God cause a finite, miserable creature that's real, who then comes home? Can the God be the cause of the effect, the jiva, who then comes back to it? Gaudapada says, if you take up that position, you are asserting a changing Brahman. Brahman's busy today. He's putting out souls. Don't bother him today. No. Oh, God put out all these souls and he's gathering them all to himself, but he forgot when. No. Or the weirdest one. Anybody know who John Calvin was?
Yes.
Tell us who John Calvin was.
He was the first Protestant. No,
That's pretty much attributed to Martin Luther.
Martin Luther.
Calvin was a theologian, and he posited that God created everybody, and only 144,000 people were created saved. And they would know it because they would be inherently good people. All the rest, listen carefully, were created damned. Horrible theology.
Oh,
People who are created damned have no choice but to do sinful things, and off you go to hell. Terrible view of the world.
Is that Calvinism?
Yes. Now, in modern days, it's been moderated a bit. But no, you always have been Brahman. You've never been other than that. But because of the Lord's Maya Shakti, these dreamlike creatures, you create creatures in your dream. But just because they're seen doesn't make them real. Every creature of your dream is nothing but you, your one mind, appearing as those beings. Next verse.
Ajadve jayate yasya rishtantasya nasti vai jatacha jayamanasya vyavastha prasajyate. There is certainly no illustration possible in life to give in support of the belief that the effect is born out of an unborn cause. Again, if it be said the effect is produced from a cause which is itself born, then it will lead to a logical fallacy, regressio ad infinitum, anavastha dosha.
Yeah. So again, dealing with logic, trying to prove the logic that any idea that there's a real thing called an individual person falls apart. Doesn't mean a lot of people don't believe in it. But people believe all sorts of absurd things for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. The people in Europe believed the world was flat. Why didn't sailors sail west till the time of Columbus? Because they were afraid they were going to fall off the edge of the world. They believed the earth was the center and all the planets and the sun revolved around the earth. Didn't make it true, even though lots and lots of people believed it. So agreement is not a test of reality. Now, many of us try to assert reality in that way. Who here, either yourself or you've had a colleague, have been yelled at by your boss, and then you go to another colleague and say, "Oh, isn't so-and-so terrible? He did this to me. Did he do that to you?" Anybody ever done that? And if you get enough people to say it, then you can believe that it's true. I was talking to a person who's my little brother, who's a Trumpy yesterday. And he was talking about Fox News's view of the world has to be more true because CNN doesn't have nearly as many viewers. First of all, I have no idea if that's true. But even if it were, agreement is no proof of truth. Going on.
एतोरादि फलं येषाम् आदिर्हेतु फलस्य च एतो फलस्य चानादि कथं तैरूपवर्णयते. How can they who assert that the effect is the cause of the cause, and the cause is the cause of the effect, maintain the beginningless of both the cause and effect?
So my mind starts to spin when he starts going down these argument things. And one of the things Gaudapada is really doing here, in the end, the intellect, which is the instrument for understanding, which is the instrument for figuring stuff out, is not useful here. It is in the beginning. You want to get a proper understanding. But as the Master Jesus said, in a moment when you take no thought, or as the author of The Cloud of Unknowing says, put a cloud of forgetting between you and the world, and a cloud of unknowing between you and God. Stop the mind. And see what is. It's not about figuring stuff out. That's why when people go on social media and they flame one another about non-dualism and stuff like that, silliest thing in the world. Because it's not figure outable in the end. So all this section is intended to make your mind go, where am I getting, cause of the effect, and the effect of the effect of the cause of the cause of the effect, stop. Unknow the mind. So Vedanta is a non-intellectual path for intellectuals. It's designed for people who like to think. And it's a way of thinking that ultimately gets us out of our thinking. Next verse.
हेतुरादि फलं येषाम् आदिर्हेतु फलस्य च तथा जन्म भवेत् तेषाम् पुत्रा janma pituryatha. Those who maintain that the effect is the cause of the cause, and the cause is the cause of the effect, describe in fact the evolution as though the birth of the father comes from the son.
Yes. So the idea that the enlightened being is caused by my sadhana, and it's just this, what process is going on? And here the example that he gives at the end is the same one I pointed out with Amini. I knew what was coming. So was Abhi the cause of Amini becoming a mother? Or was Amini the cause of Abhi being born? Cause and effect, effect and cause. It's just playing with words.
You could also say that there's this infinite number of causes for anything, really. And we kind of hyperfixate on one aspect. So there is no real cause.
Very good point. Very good point. So one of the great metaphors is the Ashwatha tree. What's the Ashwatha tree?
Is it the wish fulfilling tree?
No, no, this is the tree of life. Occurs in Kathopanishad, it occurs in Gita. And its roots are above and its branches are below. Remember this one from scripture? Yes, no? But the idea here is the roots. Now, if you've ever dug up a tree, the roots are many and they go deep into the soil and these little tiny fibers, and they go into the infinite. So where is real cause? Just like Puneet was saying. Oh, I've got this syndrome and it comes from my family of origin. Well, where did they get it? Or is it something you've carried over from another life? Well, where was the beginning of that one? Or are you absorbing cause of mind states, etc., from the environment? I was just talking with my stepsister this morning, and my brother-in-law is Danish. She married a Danish boy, and his family was here visiting, and they just think America's weird. And they were on the plane going back to Denmark, and they were sitting next to another Danish person. He's been here for 41 years. It's too crazy. He's going back to Denmark, he says. So did the environment cause his mind state? Very strange. So you really can't ever find where cause is. So the causes, the roots of the tree of life, they're lost in the infinite.
So is part of the teaching just let it go?
Well, from the standpoint of dealing with my kleshas right here, right now, my defects of character, I have everything I need because it's all right here. So what do I need to do? It's always the same. Let go, detach, keep your heart open. Understanding, some people in the psychotherapeutic world would say, can be helpful. Helps you release the charge of this and that. But in the end, it's not necessary. For example, there are people who are convinced they were sexually abused as children, but they have no memory of it. It's been blocked. Did it really happen? They seem to have all the symptoms of it. Maybe it happened in a prior life. But finding the cause is not what's going to fix it. You got to deal with the fear, deal with the disassociation, deal with the aversion or compulsive attractions in the now. Does that make it clearer?
Absolutely.
And even if you know, oh yes, my Uncle Bill did this to me, diddled me when I was a 6-year-old, that doesn't make it go away. It makes you really angry at Uncle Bill. All right, going on.
Sambhave hetu phalayo eshitavya kramastavaya yugapat sambhave yasmat sambandho vishanavat. In the cause and effect are still, in case the cause and effect are still maintained, the order in which cause and effect succeed each other must be determined. If it is said that they come simultaneously, then they cannot be mutually related to each other like the two horns of an animal.
So here what he's referring to is also the ideas that some of the Buddhists have. The Buddhists put forward a doctrine of dependent origination. So this individual ego and the phenomenal world arise at the same time, and their arising is dependent on one another. Now, I'm not a Buddhist. You guys who've done Buddhist practice, correct me here, please. So what Gaudapada is talking about is the ego the cause of the perception of the phenomenal world, or is the perception of the phenomenal world the cause of the ego? Which is cause and which is effect? What do the Buddhists say?
Neither, say, the world just arises by itself.
Say it a little louder for the Zoom.
The world just arises by itself, neither is the cause.
Yeah. Which is close to the Vedanta. What the Vedantins would say is the mind splinters, refracts into the triputi, the triple factor, knower, knowing, and known. Just like in the dream state, it's your one undivided mind that becomes the dream body with the dream ego, which becomes a locus of perception, and you perceive the dream world and you have dream feelings and reactions. It all just arises. So again, he's messing with our minds so that we go until we finally understand. Don't try to figure it out. Shankara addresses this in his qualifications of a fit student. In the group of 6, Shamadhi Guna, the last one is Samadhana. That peaceful and tranquil state when it rests in contemplation of the goal, which is not to be obtained by any amount of oscillation of the mind. Well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? Going on.
Phaladutpadhyaman sanna te hetu prasidhyati aprasidha katham hetu phalamutpadayishyati. Cause cannot be established if it be produced from the effect. How can your cause, which is itself not established, give birth to the effect?
Yes. So again, I wouldn't get too caught up in all this. It's just playing with logic. And there's an assumption here that Gaudapada never addresses. Who says logic is valid? The deepest Vedanta would say, nope, just another imagination. Going on.
यदि हेतु फल सिद्धि फल सिद्धश्च हेतुतः कतरत् पूर्व निष्पन्नम यस्य सिद्धिरपेक्षया. If the cause is produced from the effect and the effect is again produced from the cause, which one of the two is born first and upon which of them the birth of the other depends?
Yes. And again, this whole idea of what causes what. I wouldn't worry about it. It's not my favorite section of the text, to be very honest with you. I don't think many of us are too identified and attached with either the notion of the transmigrating soul as being the fundamentally real person or the Buddhist notion of dependent origination, that there's a real individual that arises because of the perception of a world. Who's causing who? The thunderous message of Vedanta, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, all this is consciousness, which never really moves. But because of Maya Shakti, the inherent power of the infinite, the whole universe arises by imagination, sankalpena, by means of imagination. Brahma Satyam Jagan Vidya. Brahman alone is real. The Jagat, the phenomenal world from top to bottom, gross to subtle, Mithya, illusory, a lie, fake news. Going on.
Ashaktir parijnanam kramakopothva punah evam hi sarvatha buddhai jati paridipita. The inability to reply, the ignorance about the matter, and again the impossibility of establishing the order of succession of cause and effect clearly lead the wise in every way to stick to their theory of absolute non-creation, ajati.
Yes. So the position of the Advaita Vedantins, yourself doesn't need to be fixed. Yourself was never really born. Yourself does not get liberated. I think the clearest way it's articulated is in Yoga Vasishta. Both bondage and liberation occur to the mind. The self is ever free. There is no other bondage than the deeply rooted conviction that I'm bound, meaning I'm convinced I'm a person. I'm the body. There's no other liberation than the deeply rooted conviction. Not that I'm an enlightened person, but I am Brahman. And I never was a person. Just like when you wake up from a nightmare, you did not resolve the crisis of the dream. It's gone. What keeps me stuck in the dream? Yeah, but I want this, that, and the other thing. I think that's real. You'll never get to see the rope as long as you keep smooching that snake. Next one.
Bijam kurakyo drishtanta sada sadhya samohi saha nahi sadhya samohetu siddhau sadhyasya yujyate. The illustration of the seed and the seedling is itself a matter which indeed is yet to be proved. That illustration alone, which is itself to be proved, cannot be used for establishing a proposition to be proved.
So the illustration that he's referring to is this. So the tree bears fruit, and in the fruit, when it falls to the ground, is a seed. The seed then becomes cause for the tree. So which is the cause? Is the seed the cause, which it is for the tree, or is the tree the cause because it bears fruit, which becomes the cause, the seed? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Same kind of idea. It's pointless. Don't fret about it. Stop the mind, even momentarily, and you stop the world. See the illusory nature of your mind, and all of a sudden, all the phenomenal objects are seen for what they are: imagination. Going on.
Purva para parijnanam ajate paridipakam jayamanadhivai dharmat katham purvam na grihyate. The inability to show antecedents or the subsequence of the cause and effect clearly proves the absence of evolution or creation. In the effect, egocentric entity has really been produced from a cause. Then why this inability in you to point out definitely the antecedent of the cause?
So if you hang on to the belief, I am a transmigrating soul, and I accrue punya and papa, merit and demerit, and that's what determines my next life. So I have to do puja and various purity rites, etc. And the cause of this life is something in a prior life. And I have to expiate sin when I go causation hunting, or I keep running to the astrologer because they are causing what's going on, the planets in the sky. I look for my karma. And I love Swamiji's thunderous statement at this point. Reincarnation is the genealogy of the ghost in the post. It's late at night. I'm walking down the sidewalk on Grand Avenue. And up ahead, I see this tall person in dark clothes, a mugger. He's going to rob me. Should I cross to the other side of the street? Oh, it's even darker over there. But I'm a compassionate person. He probably wants to rob me because he's in financial need. It's the cause of his motivation. Why? Oh, he comes from a dysfunctional home. He was abused. His parents may have been alcoholics. What about them? Oh, they were immigrants. They were escaping violence in their home countries. That was the cause of their migration. So we have generational violence. So I create a genealogy for the mugger. And then a car comes, shines its headlights, and there's no mugger. It's a lamppost. There's nothing there. So we always have to be clear from what level we're talking. In the dream of this world, of course, we experience cause and effect. You see the lamp over here? Cause and effect. Turning the switch makes the light go on. Turning it again makes it go off. But that can happen in the dream too. Is it of value to do swadhyaya as the Raja yogis conceive of it? What's swadhyaya? Self-study. In the Vedanta traditions, it means on my own, I review the scripture. I study the scripture on my own. Raja Yoga tradition, it means a psychological inventory. It means spending time having what Shankara calls knowledge of the world within and the world without. You have to have some awareness of your own psychology so you know what's causing some of your issues. But that's a relative reality. This is all stuff we do in the beginning layers of our sadhana. Making the unconscious conscious. I still feel the best way to do that is long and continuous meditation. And then these vasanas come to the surface. But at the higher levels of practice, it's not about fixing stuff. It's about seeing what's real. And the mind isn't. Next one.
Savato vaparato swato vaparato vapi na kinchit dvastu jayate Sadasat Sadasatvapi na kinchid vastu jayate. Nothing is ever born either of itself or of another or of both. Nothing at all is ever born, whether it is being or non-being or both being and non-being.
So what Gaudapada is saying, what is real is the perception of this vivid, phenomenal world. No, it is. It appears. There's no real cause in the past. The past itself is nothing but a bunch of ideas. Just as you have process in a dream. If you dream you get in the car and you're driving in San Francisco, is there any real cause and effect? And what is real is you. And you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. Don't believe me? Look. Always safe. Next one.
Prajnapte sanimittattvam anyatha dvayanashitah sankleshasyoupalabdhescha paratantrasti tamataha. Subjective knowledge must have an objective cause, otherwise both must be non-existence. For this reason, as well as that of the experience of pain, the existence of external objects accepted by the Dvaitans must be admitted.
So this is an argument. Certainly in a dream, if I am pushed off a cliff and I'm falling in the dream, there is a relative cause and effect. And certainly at the effect of pain in the body. Boy, does that seem real for most of us. We cannot deny the perception. But that doesn't make it fundamentally real. Going on.
I think I skipped one by mistake. Should I read the previous?
Sure.
Heturna jayate nade halam chapi swabhavatah adirna vidyate yasya tasya hadirnya vidyate. The cause cannot be produced from an effect which is beginningless, nor is the effect born out of itself. That which is without a beginning is necessarily free from birth.
Yes. And again, he's just messing with logic. Don't worry about it. You check out yourself. See if you can find a beginning to I. Well, I began when I was born. Did you? Why do you believe that? because I've watched animals being born. That's when they began. Well, that's when their bodies did. But is that the beginning of consciousness? Well, I don't remember anything. You don't remember your birth. Most of us don't remember last year, maybe last week.
Maybe yesterday.
Memory or the loss of it is no proof of existence. My direct experience is I am. Always. But where do I go when I die? You go nowhere. Think. Now we have photographs. Look at a photograph of yourself as a child. Where did that body go? It's dead. But for one moment did you cease to be. Won't my individuality go? I'll stop being me. What is your individuality? But a constantly changing group of perceptions. I'm tall, I'm short, good, I'm bad, happy, sad. Actually, none of it is about you. It's about stuff you see, stuff you know. Going on.
Chittam na sansprishatyartham natha bhasam tathaiva cha abhuto hi yataschartho nartha bhasas tata prithak. The mind is not
I'm sorry, I think you skipped 25.
Oh, skip one again. All right. So 25, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pragyapte sanimittattvam ishyate yukti darshanat nimittasya nimittattvam ishyate bhuta darshanat. So far as empirical reason, yukti darshana goes, the fact of plurality is to be accepted. But from the standpoint of the absolutism theory, bhuta darshana, pluralistic world with all its variety and relation is illusory.
So again, we have to be able to see from what level we're talking. This is why we say that nirvikalpa samadhi is not the highest state. In nirvikalpa samadhi, completely introverted, the mind is gone, there's no perception of the ego, no perception of a phenomenal world. And we have stories of yogis, oh, sage so-and-so was in samadhi for 12 years or whatever. However long you're in samadhi, it ends. It is the mind state of no mind. But it is not the highest. How can it be perfection if its gain or loss is accomplished by the opening or the closing of the eyes? The length of 8 grains of barley, as Tripurara Hasim says. No, real freedom is sahaja samadhi. when I'm absolutely convinced Brahman alone is real, Brahman is who and what I am, and the perceived world is not problematic because it's not fundamentally real. Seen, but not real. So the man or woman of wisdom sees their equipment functioning in the world, naturally having the attitude of the witness, Sakshi Bhava. And you can't really practice Sakshi Bhava. You realize you're always the witness. And you watch the play go on with no concern, seriously, for what it is, what's going on. Because it's all unreal, anityam, not eternal. And even our apparent cause and effect in the phenomenal world, physicists are beginning to break all that down. It's just a convenient way of moving at the empirical level. Going on.
Chittam na sansprishatyatham narthabhasam tathaiva cha abhuto hi yatas chatho narthabhasas tata prithak. The mind does not contact objects of the external world, nor are the ideas which appear as external objects any delusory reflection upon the mind. We say so because objects are non-existent, and the ideas which appear as objects in the outer world are not in any sense separate from the mind.
Yes. So there are a couple ways to look at this. Gaudapada is kind of implying that everything I see is just a mental projection of mine, just like the dream. Vidyaranya kind of nuances that. And I like his because he talks about two layers of dreaming. The first layer of dreaming is Ishwara's dream. So, for example, if Saundarya gets hit by a bus, the speed of light does not disappear. But on top of Ishwara's swapna dream, which is inherently neutral, inherently perfect, characters in Ishwara's dream, called what appears to be the individual egos, then superimpose all my judgments, good and bad, right and wrong, just and unjust. My individuality attributes value to an inherently neutral world. But the bottom line is all of it without exception is imagination. In the end, I can't really say there's such a thing called my mind. There's mind. Doesn't belong to anybody. We can't even in the end say that mind is real. What is it? It's just imaginations. All that's real is Brahman. Nothing is created. Nothing is destroyed. It just appears. Okay, we'll stop here. What verse are we on for tomorrow, for next week?
27.
27. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Tat Sat.